All right, David Cuellar, you are back. Have you had a chance to speak with your client?
Yes, I have, Your Honor. He's looks like he's zoomed on also.
All right, so what are we doing with your case?
Your Honor, I was offered the opportunity to apply for PTD, and I actually have a blank application right in front of me, so I can.
All right, Norma on Mount Mark Anthony Hurtado.
Yes,
Can we get
ma'am.
a reset date for PTD?
We can do, let's see. Hold on, Judge. We can come back on the 17th, Judge.
All right, we'll come back on the 17th. So by that time, Mr. Cuellar, those documents need to have been submitted.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Hurtado,
Yes, ma'am.
you need to make sure you're on time. And if you're not on time, then you need to be present in court instead of Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
All right, Mr. Cuellar, do you have all the contact information you need from Mr. Hurtado?
I definitely do. We have several numbers.
All right, thank you. Then you're excused, Mr. Cuellar, and so is your client.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a good afternoon.
All right, you too. Shannon Locke.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. We're here on your case, Mr. King.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a chance to confer with the state?
I'm not. I'd be glad to.
All right, I'll send you.
We don't
a
need to
doc-
confer, Judge. We're opposed to his motion at this time.
Okay, they're opposed to your motion. No need for conferring, that's what I'm being told. So let's begin. All right, the court is going to call NYMAG number 624183, State of Texas versus Trevon King. I have parties announced for the record for the state,
David Martin,
for the defense.
Shannon Locke for Trevon King.
All right, and are you Mr. King? You're
Yes,
on
Your
mute. Right. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections to this hearing taking place by video? State,
no objection.
defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. King, do you have any objection to this taking place by video?
No, ma'am.
All right, the defense has filed a motion to modify the defendant's condition of bond and requesting that GPS fees will be waived. State, have you had a chance to review the defense's motion, and are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right. Then Mr. Locke, what I will tell you is the court will ask that GPS fees be waived so that there doesn't need to be an argument or a debate about that. But what I will tell you is I don't have the authority to waive them. It's a third-party contract, but I will put in the order that GPS fees are to be waived and needs to be placed on indigent status.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so then the only thing we need to hear on your motion is as it relates to your request for tracking only.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so defense, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Mr. King is currently working. He has a job at, it's called Dayforce. So we're asking that he be allowed to go to work. Also, he has a 4-year-old daughter who he shares with the complaining witness in this case. They need to be able to co-parent. And so what we're asking, Your Honor, is that they have no harmful or injurious contact with each other. She's come into my office. She's signed the non-prosecution affidavit, and it is her position, while she doesn't want to continue as a romantic partner with Mr. King, she does want him to be an active part in her life. And so he has a 4-year-old daughter. This is obviously crucial bonding time for them. We're asking that they be allowed to work together to raise this daughter as they should. And they need to be able to have, not unfettered contact, but they need to have significant contact to be able to do that.
All right.
And I have a paycheck stub. I could give that to, he works in construction. It's Builders First Source, and the name of the paycheck processing company is Dayforce. I could provide the paycheck stub to the court if the court would like.
Well, and when you say Dave Force, is it Dave or Day, D-A-Y?
DAY.
All right. So what I can tell you also, defense, if I'm being asked to lift a no contact order and change that, I usually want to hear some information from the complainant so that I can know. And this is not saying anything negative about defense counsel or the state, but
Well,
I
Judge,
like to.
That's not even part of his motion. All
Yes,
we
I
have
understand
is
that.
GPS.
No, that's not a part of his motion, but
So
what I'm saying.
we're not litigating that.
Time out. So what I'm saying is, defense, before I consider lifting a no harm or changing a contact order from no contact to no harm for injurious contact, just so you know, I always like to hear from the complainant.
Very good, Your Honor.
So you're asking for tracking only,
For tracking only, Your Honor.
and you say that your client has employment and
does.
he has a 4-year-old daughter.
He does have a 4-year-old daughter, yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else you would like to present on your motion before I turn it over to the state?
I do have the paycheck stubs, Your Honor. If you want me to provide those, I can. I can email them to you or email them to the state.
Okay, what are his working hours?
And I'll let Mr. King answer that. I believe he works from early in the morning till, but he can answer. Mr. King, can you tell the
Well,
court?
I mean,
your
if you're
working
gonna call him as a witness, I'll need to swear him in.
hours? And that's fine, Your Honor, for purposes of this motion.
All right, Mr. King, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you could lower your hand and state your name for the record, please.
Trayvon Trenton King.
All right, defense?
Thank you. Mr. King, can you tell the court where you're working?
I'm working at Builders First Source,
And what hours do you usually maintain over there?
7 to 6.
Okay. And you get paid, you get a regular paycheck for that?
Yes, bi-weekly.
Okay. And what kind of work do you do for them?
I'm a contractor in the warehouse. So I move the products like windows and everything to the loading docks.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, state, any questions?
Yeah, are you currently on parole?
Yes, sir.
Does your parole officer know that you picked up another family violence case?
Yes, sir.
And do you know whether or not a blue warrant's going to be issued for your parole violations?
No, sir. Not at the moment.
You don't know, or they're not going to issue a warrant?
They're pretty much. I talked to them about my case, and I told them that I'm trying to get it
And
dismissed.
Judge, I'm just gonna object to this, and I think it's beyond the scope of this motion. He's informed his parole officer. She knows about it.
All right, that'll be sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But you're on parole for an assault family second offense, right?
Sir?
You're on parole for an assault family second offense?
Strangulation, sir.
Well, you're on parole for both, right?
They ran concurrent.
Right, but you have one strangulation case and one assault second case.
On
Parole for.
I'm on parole, yes, sir, for my MTR. Yes, sir.
I have no more questions.
All right, any other questions, defense?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any other witnesses, defense?
No other witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, state, any witnesses?
No, Judge.
All right, then the court will hear argument. Defense, it's your motion, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're asking that Mr. King be allowed to go to work so that he can support his family. He does have a 4-year-old daughter. It's important for him to be able to provide for them. We'll file a motion to modify that no contact order that he has with the child's mother. But while he's out and while he's essentially preparing to defend himself in this case, it is important that he be allowed to work so he can support his family.
All right, state.
Judge, this offense happened barely 2 weeks ago. So as far as what's going on with the parole, I would like some time to look into that as to whether they're going to issue a blue warrant or not. He's on parole for 2 family violence assaults, 1 of strangulation case, and he just picked up another one. I think at this time, it's prudent for the safety of the victim and the community that he remain on full house arrest.
All right, so it's unclear to the court. So this nightmare case number that we're here for today, 64183, is this the only pending assault case that he has? And I know he has the parole, but outside of parole, is this the only pending assault case he has, or does he have another one in addition to this?
That's the only one that he has that we're aware of, Your Honor.
This is the only pending new case, but he has 2 assaults that are running concurrent that he is on parole for right now.
Okay.
And the offense date, Judge, I believe was like in 2011. Or one was in 2011.
The other was 2015.
All right, and has state, have you talked to the complainant in this case?
We have not been able to reach her as of yet, Judge.
And Your Honor, if the court would like, I do have a non-prosecution affidavit from her.
All right. So let me just tell everyone where I am on this case. I'm inclined to allow him to work, but I really want to hear from the complainant, to let the complainant know and to see if the complainant has any fears or any objections to him working while on GPS. I'm not going to remove his GPS. I'm not going to do GPS tracking only. I'm not going to do a no harmful or injurious contact. So if anyone wants to have the complainant zoom in.
Can I mute myself and do that, Your Honor?
Of course.
Thank you.
Rebecca,
Yes, ma'am.
I sent you an email. I received an email from Mr. Acevedo, and he included, I believe, Marcus in the email. I'm sorry, David Martin in the email as well. And so we need a referral for him for Veterans Treatment Court. So if we
Okay.
can do that, that would be awesome.
Okay, let me look into his file, Judge.
All right, everyone, just give me a moment. And Shannon Locke, is this the complainant in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
What is her full name, please?
Asia Wyatt. Just a second, Judge. Let me pull that up.
Excuse me, could you unmute? What's your last name?
Asia Wyatt Boone, Your Honor.
The last name is Boone,
Yes, yes, Judge.
Yes.
B-O-O-N?
With an E
Yes.
at the end.
All right, everyone, just give me a moment, please.
Yeah, Grandma.
Okay. All right, so defense, are you calling Ms. Boone as a witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Ms. Boone?
Me,
There you go.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Now, it's not my intention to get into the facts of the case, but if Mr. Locke, you're going to be getting into the facts of the case, and if she's going to say something different than what she told the police or whoever she spoke to that night, then she's going to need an attorney appointed to her.
And that's not my intention, Your Honor. I'm just going to ask her what her position is on the motion to modify. Ms. Boone, just to get you up to speed.
Okay,
We
well,
fi-
just one second. All right, could you state your name for the record, please?
Asian Wyatt Boone.
All right, defense.
Thank you. Ms. Boone, how do you know Trayvon King?
He's my husband.
And do you understand that he's essentially on full house arrest right now? We filed a motion to modify so that he can be on tracking only. Do you have a position on that?
No, I don't.
Do you feel like you're afraid of Mr. King at this point?
No.
Now, you two are no longer romantically involved. Is that correct?
All right.
And but you are not opposed to him being on tracking only?
No, I'm not.
Okay, and you understand that one of the reasons that he wants to be on tracking only is so that he can go to work and back.
Correct.
Okay, and do you have any opposition to that?
No.
Now, you two have a daughter together, is that right?
Yes, we have a 4-year-old.
And what's his relationship like with her?
He's a wonderful dad. He takes care of all his kids. So yeah, he does need to be at work.
Okay. And is that the reason that you want him to have this tracking only
Yes.
Now he's going to still have no contact with you. That's important for you to understand. Okay. I'm going to try to change that in the future.
Okay, so I'm sorry, just one moment. The court reporter is taking down what everyone says. She can only take one person down at a time. So defense, if you ask your question, and then Ms. Boone, wait till the defense finishes his question, then answer. All right,
So-
defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I apologize. That was my fault. Ms. Boone, so he will still have no contact with you, but he could then go wherever he'd like, or you could exchange the child through third parties, and he could have time with his 4-year-old. Would that all be okay with you?
That's fine.
And I have no further questions. I'll pass the witness.
All right, state.
Yes, are you fully aware of Mr. King's history? As far as violence?
Are you talking to
Miss-
me?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's asking you
Oh,
questions.
I am.
And this isn't the first time he's assaulted you, right?
And Judge, I'm going to object to that.
I'm going to overrule because you're asking me to place him on tracking only.
This is the first time I have ever reported anything as far as Trayvon that has happened. And as I've told everyone the day that he came, that the cops came, I do not know what touched me that day. All I know is something did touch me. And even when they took the report, they said, well, your report isn't matching up with what you're telling me, because I don't know for sure if that, did he hit you or did another object hit you? And my back was turned, so I cannot tell you exactly if that happened or not. So now that's where I'm at right now. And I've never reported Trayvon for any other things.
Okay, what about August of 2017 when he got arrested for choking?
I don't know. I'm not aware of that. Does he have a police, do I have a statement behind that?
Well, he was, do you recall speaking with an advocate in the district attorney's office in October 2017 when he was coming to court for an MTR?
No, I don't. Do y'all have a statement for me saying that? Do you have anything in documents that I've came to you with documents and paperwork, recording, anything of that sort from the state?
I'm asking if you recall telling the district attorney's office that you didn't want to get involved in his MTR.
And Judge, I'm just going to object going regarding improper impeachment.
All right. So I'm going to overrule the objection. And this is what we're going to do. One, Ms. Boone,
Yes.
when a question is asked of you, you need to answer that question. This is not a time for witnesses to be asking questions. So a question is asked of you, answer it. I require that everyone who enters into this courtroom treats everyone with respect, whether you like their job or not, whether you like their questions or not. So I require that. So Mr. Martin, you may proceed with your questions of Ms. Boone.
You recall him getting arrested in August of 2017 for a choking case against you?
No, I do not.
You recall October 2017 telling the district attorney's office that y'all have a baby together and you don't want to get involved?
No, I do not.
You recall telling the advocate with the district attorney's office that you wanted no part in sending him to prison?
No, I do not.
I have no more questions.
All right, defense, do you have any questions?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is there any further argument from the state or the defense? Defense, it's your motion.
Your Honor, we're only asking that he be allowed to go to tracking only, that he be allowed to go to work and back to essentially take care of his household duties and go back to his home. We're asking for the GPS to be modified in that way, and we'll leave it to the court's discretion, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Nothing further aside from him going back to his home. I mean, there is a no contact order in place with.
Well, so where he currently resides, Your Honor, is what I was.
Okay, and where does he currently reside?
Trayvon?
3819 Spanish Branch, which is my mother's house.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The defendant will be allowed to work while on GPS. That is all he will be allowed to do, partial GPS to work. He is not to have any contact with the complainant, in this case, Asia Boone. That means no contact through third parties. And he's only allowed to work upon presentation of his work schedule to pretrial services. And the court, as previously stated, will ask that the fees be waived, or in the alternative that the defendant be placed on indigent status.
And so, Your Honor, that means that he can't see his 4-year-old.
There's not to be any contact with Asia Boone and no contact through a third party. Here's my question. Is Child Protective Services involved in this case?
No, ma'am.
Like, I don't understand why Child Protective Services is not involved. I don't know, and we can go off the record, Brenna. I don't know anything about the facts of the case, Mr. King. But what I do know is normally in Child Protective Services cases, if there are allegations of physical abuse between spouses while a child is in the home, usually Child Protective Services is involved. And if they're not involved at this moment, sometimes it takes them a little while to know that certain cases are out there and get involved. So I'm not in charge of your visitation with your 4-year-old. I don't know, is there some sort of civil custody arrangement, Mr. Locke?
I don't think there is, Your Honor.
So my understanding of this case is how old? Because it hasn't been indicted or anything. How old is this case?
2 weeks.
All right. So the court doesn't have enough information to allow him to have some sort of contact with his child. All I know so far about you, Mr. King, is that you're on parole for assault. And it's 2 assault cases. I don't know if this is the same complainant or not, but I have heard evidence that now you have this new assault case and that Ms. Boone may or may not, according to her, have reported it other instances to the state. So based upon all of that, as I said before, you'll be allowed to work upon proof. There's still to be no contact with Asia Boone. And I'll ask that GPS fees be waived, or you're placed on indigent status. All right. Mr. Martin, did you need to speak with Ms. Boone before I excuse all parties?
No.
All right. Is there anything else, Mr. Locke?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Would the court consider entertaining an additional modification in a few weeks?
Oh, I'm always open. As I tell people, file whatever motions you want to file. The court will always hear them. Sometimes defense counsel say we hear our motions too quickly, but we're here from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
I have never said that, Judge.
I could tell you, my mind, Brenna, my mind is like a steel trap. I could give you the list of defense attorneys who said, we're not ready for this hearing. You filed our motion too quickly.
I'm not on that list, but I sure appreciate you hearing us this quickly, Your Honor. It does help. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. May we be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, why do I have the file on? Oh, that's something else. All right, everyone, I'm going to stop the live stream. See everybody.